Welcome to the Current Conversations podcast. My name is Savannah Hogdahl. I'm the Public Communications Media Specialist for Gloucester County. And today we are speaking with Carol Rizzio in Planning and Zoning. So, Carol, do you want to explain a little bit about what you do, what your job is like on a day-to-day basis?
Yeah, so I am the Assistant Director of Planning and Zoning. Prior to that, I was Senior Comprehensive Planning. So I look out to the future for the county and what the plans are.
That's pretty exciting to get to envision what Gloucester will be.
Yes, it is.
So this is a department that people come to when they are trying to set up something new, but there are a lot of people in Gloucester who I'm assuming have not had the pleasure of working with you yet. So could you kind of tell me in plain English what planning and zoning does, just as a department?
Yeah, so planning and zoning is regulations that say what you can and can't do on your property. So a lot of people come in if they want to build a house or open a business or a certain type of use, they come in to get a permit for that use. And it also regulates the setbacks that are needed on it from your property to an adjacent property.
So that's zoning, is planning.
So planning is that long range kind of vision of this is where we are and where do we want to get to, is the planning side. Zoning is what you currently can do on your property.
When people talk about local government, this is the localist, right? Because this is talking about what you can do on your land, like on your street kind of thing.
Correct.
The county is organized in zones. I know that intellectually, but I don't ever sit down and look and see like what zones do we have here. Can you kind of talk about what zones we have and how someone can figure out which one they live in?
Sure. So you can go to our GIS website and you can put in your property address or your GPIN if you have it, and it'll come up with what your zone is. We have 2 agriculture districts, we have 4 or 5 residential districts, and 3 business districts, and then an industrial district. And the zoning ordinance designates what uses are permitted in each of those districts.
So can you kind of give me generally what someone can do in an industrial place versus a business zone?
So businesses, you think of like retail, offices, convenience stores, grocery stores, that type is typically our businesses. That would be our B1 district. We also have a rural business district that you find more in those rural crossroads. It can be gas stations, small shops, convenience stores. And then we have our village business district, which is in our village areas around the courthouse and the point. That we're looking in the future planning to do more multi-use type developments in those. So in our industrial district, it would be more like manufacturing type uses or processing type uses.
Interesting. So you guys, I mean, probably you specifically, have been working on a zoning ordinance update for some time now, right? What does that mean?
So we have looked at every word in the zoning ordinance, which is about 250 pages, and we started with the definitions, which is how all of the uses that are allowed are defined. So we went through all the uses, we looked at all the districts and where those uses were permitted or not and how they were permitted. Certain uses also have supplementary regs, so it may be permitted in a certain district, but how it's permitted, like what are the setbacks, what requirements are there in addition to that, such as home occupations. They're allowed, but there's regulations about how much that business can take up space-wise of your home.
So you're just trying to make sure that everything is either how you want it or you know what to change, and you're kind of coming up with those changes.
Yes, a lot of the changes are based out of questions we've had over the years. Like a lot of people that live in our rural residential districts want to do some type of agriculture and they see agriculture all around them, but they can't because the zoning ordinance says it's not currently permitted. So that's one of the changes that's being made, that we're going to allow them by coming in for a special exception permit. So they can't do it by right, but they can ask for permission to do that in the rural residential district.
I saw by right in some of the literature online. So by right means that you can just do it because it's just zoned for that use.
Yes, you still have to come in for a zoning permit, but that use is permitted.
Okay.
Right.
What's been your role with the zoning ordinance update? Are you physically leafing through pages and looking at words?
So my role has been to look at everything, to look at the changes that are proposed, draft language, bring that at a staff level to talk about internally. And then every month for the past 5 years, we've brought it to the Planning Commission at their monthly meetings to talk about, make changes. So I've kind of been the project manager, organizing and spearheading this update.
That's awesome. What are some of the changes you're most excited to propose?
I think that agriculture in our rural residential districts is exciting. Another one is in our village areas, which is around the courthouse and the point, to allow multifamily by right. The density that was being proposed was a little high. We heard some comments when we went out to the public survey that people felt it was a little high. We were proposing 16 units per acre, so that has been reduced to 8 units per acre.
So we're talking about 8 apartment units, 8 condos, 8 townhomes per acre, right?
Correct.
Okay. And people just want it to be a little less city-like, I'm guessing? Is that was
Yeah,
the public?
I think that, a little less urban, more fitting in with our small kind of rural character.
So also on that list, I saw some wording about cluster development. Can you kind of explain what that is, where it says like allow for continued cluster development?
So clustering is where you put the houses closer together and you leave the rest of the required land for the lot in open space, common open space. So it can preserve agriculture fields, it can preserve wetlands and forests. So it just allows a smaller footprint for those homes and infrastructure that is required.
Okay, so keeping some rural space open. So what level of impact does the zoning ordinance have on Gloucester's people day to day?
So it has a lot of impact because it is, again, saying what you can and can't do with your property. Typically, if you're in a residential district and you just want to own a home and live in a home and have a garage, you're really not affected other than the setbacks. It's more when you want to do something different with your property, or if you own a business, what type of business you can have in a business district.
Okay.
So yeah, it affects everybody every day.
And can the public's opinion on these proposed changes impact what happens?
For sure. We definitely want public input. We want public support. And a lot of the changes that we're doing when we went out with the survey were supported by the public. And I think the Board and Planning Commission are very interested in hearing the public's input. So I encourage everybody to call us with questions and provide that input. So everybody probably got a notice in the mail. You're not unique. We had to mail one to every property owner in the county. It's state code. The zoning ordinance draft will be going before the Planning Commission on July 11th. They are not making a decision that night as far as adoption or not. They only make a recommendation to the Board of Supervisors. Depending on what input they receive, they may hold off on making their recommendation for a month or so. So no decision is being made. It's just a public hearing. I'll be doing a presentation summarizing the major comments and the major changes in the ordinance. So I encourage everybody to watch it. You can watch it live, you can come to the meeting, or you can watch it recorded afterward. So there is time. Don't feel like this July 11th is imminent. There is time to provide your comments and get some feedback.
So I've seen some comments on Facebook where people are wondering if this letter means that things are being rezoned. What do you say to that question?
Yeah, so we are not rezoning anybody's property. Whatever your zone is currently is staying the same. Districts are not changing. It's just the uses that are permitted in the district are being tweaked a little bit, and the regulations around those uses.
And this is more of a meeting to learn what the changes are?
Yeah. We've been doing a lot of outreach to people, but I think the letter really kind of got it in front of everybody's face. So yeah, really come out and learn, ask questions.
Yeah, give input.
Yeah.
Remind me again, when and where is the public hearing?
So it's in the courthouse, in the Historic Circle. It's July 11th at 6:30 p.m.
So what are some ways that the public can ask questions before the hearing if they want to get an explanation before they come and talk to you?
Yeah, give us a call, 804-693-1224, and we'll answer any questions you may have. If you want to submit comments for the public hearing, there's 3 ways you can do that. You can submit them online. You can submit them by calling and leaving a message at a voicemail, or you can mail them in to us.
That's awesome. And then if people can't make it, there are ways that they can watch the hearing live, either online or on TV, I believe,
Correct.
right?
Correct.
So awesome. Guys, this impacts your life every day. We really want to hear from you. We want to know what you think about the future, because Gloucester is obviously a better place when we are all investing in it together. So give us a call, come out to the meeting, and thanks for listening.